Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zoom into Wine. It's time for the show and your host, Ian Blackburn.
All right, good evening, everybody. We're ready to begin. Welcome to Zoom into Wine. My name is Ian Blackburn, and I'm going to be your host tonight for our blind wine tasting. Oliver, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hey,
Ian.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let me introduce you to Oliver Tonnelier. He's going to be our co-host tonight. I'm going to spotlight him now. Oliver, why don't you tell everybody what you do?
So I work for a family in France called the Thienot family, a family who owns 9 chateaux in Bordeaux. All the ones we're going to try tonight are some of the chateaux they own, and they own 2 champagne houses as well. A champagne called Thienot Champagne that Ian is very familiar with, and another champagne called Canard du Chêne Champagne. And I do sales for them in all the West Coast US.
Outstanding. Thank you, Oliver. I'm going to go live right now on Facebook as we're now clicking through to that button. So I'm going to just welcome everybody real quickly again, and we'll get started. Hopefully you've got 6 glasses with you. But again, I want to welcome everybody. Zoom into Wine is what I do now. My name is Ian Blackburn, and I've been teaching wine classes for a long time. We started as learnaboutwine.com back in 1995. And in fact, we're getting ready to relaunch Learn About Wine. We're going to close the Wine LA brand down and put it to the side for a little while and go about the process of trying to buy a building for Wine LA to be a wine store, wine classroom, wine bar. And we're going to have learnaboutwine.com be our wine class, virtual wine center, if you will. We're hoping to have educators from all over the world teaching with Learn About Wine. So it's a big project that we're undergoing right now, but Zoom into Wine gave us that birth, gave us that lane, and we're really enjoying the Zoom opportunity, being able to send wine all over the place. Some of you got the little jars, and it's just a fun way to do it. Tonight's all blind, and so it's going to be a really fun way to taste and to learn. When I tell you what the wine is, you taste it one way, but when we can do it this way where all the wines are blind and you can kind of figure them out using deductive reasoning, a little bit of luck maybe, or maybe you don't figure them out. Maybe they, just don't make sense, but we have fun tasting them anyway. And this is what we do. Now, I've been studying for a long time for my Master of Wine, and if I get a chance to sit for that exam again, they could give me 6 wines like this, and then it would ask me, tell me about these wines. Where are they from? What is their price point? And, and sometimes if I just said Bordeaux, that would probably be a pretty good answer, but I would, want to talk a little bit further about, is it, what quality level of Bordeaux is it? And then maybe associate it with a place and why. And so that's what we're going to kind of do tonight. We got the wine in the glass. We're going to kind of talk about the quality and why. And then I'm going to have you take a guess at which one is which. We're going to, of course, the most interesting answer is which wine do you like the most? And that is also kind of fun for us as well. So we'll talk all about it. We've got some expertise here, and we got a great audience. Let's take a look and say hi to everybody. Thank you all for joining us. I want to toast you and say thanks for joining me for Blind Bordeaux. Cheers, everybody.
Absolutely.
So we're starting off with a white Bordeaux, and that one I cannot blind. That is going to be clear as day. And I want to start, just let your mind open up a little bit. I want to thank Barry for joining us. I want to thank Hector and family, and Shelby Brown. Thank you for coming back and seeing us again. Miranda and Brandon, hope you're doing all right there. You ready to rock there? You got the perfect background. I love that. Centimillion, right? Awesome. You get big points for that. Julie Edwards, you're under the Eiffel Tower. I like it. That looks good. Thank you. All right. I will be honest. I think everyone's got a unique perspective on life, and being an American, born and raised in a military family here in Southern California. When I go to France, I just feel amazing things. I love the history. I love the architecture. I love the countryside. Quite honestly, I think the people of France are some of the most hospitable in the world. Whenever I've traveled there, the people in wine anyway are amazing, and they go way out of their way to make us feel so comfortable there. And if I'm fortunate in my later days in life, I'm sitting somewhere in Beaune, maybe retired there, or 6 months in Beaune, 6 months here. We'll see. I would love to retire in France. So that's one of my dreams. So if anybody wants to talk to me about sharing that house the other 6 months,
we'll retire with you in France, man.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. We'll lock that down. But Oliver, you were born in France?
Yes, I was born actually in Brittany, in the northwest of France, right on a small island. And I moved to Paris and around Paris, when I was pretty young. With my dad was working in the petroleum industry, so I had to travel to move with him as well. I came to the US in 1994 and starting working in the wine industry for some different distributor, and became a supplier and working for this family about 7 years ago. And what a pleasure working for a family who owns 9 chateaus in Bordeaux and 2 champagne houses. It could be worse.
That sounds pretty good. Well, thank you. Barry, I noticed you've got the Louvre behind you there. I'm watching that new show on TV, trying to study up a little bit of French. What is it, Lupin?
That is an awesome show.
Yeah?
Very,
Cool.
very good show.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. We power watched about 4 episodes last night, so I recommend it. I think the first episode's maybe one of the slower ones, but the next couple ones kind of boogie along and kind of keep you in there. We could have probably pulled an all-nighter and power watched the entire series, but we'll get to the next ones the next couple of days. But I hope you guys are enjoying the wine. Sue Green, it's so good to see you again. And Mary Pat, wow, awesome. Wendy Caldwell, thank you very much. You're looking lovely. Thank you for joining us. Brian Grossman, hello. Who's with you there, Brian? Oh, it's Brian's Grossman. All right, well, thank you both. Thank you both. Jess, how are you?
Oh, bonsoir.
Bonsoir, bonjour.
Yeah, it's couldn't figure a better way to spend a Saturday evening with you and everyone else. So merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Enchanté to
Merci.
the others.
Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. Lisa, how's your French, Lisa?
Un po'. Parlo italiano.
That's cool. That's cool.
Very different.
It's all right. It's all right.
Bonjour.
Perfect. Valerie, how was your group there? How are you, ladies? Valerie Hall. Is everyone there 21? I just got to ask. Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, can we do an ID check with this group, please?
Yeah, we need an ID check with you guys. Are you 21 and over?
I'm 25, but thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, as I get older, 21 looks really young. I don't know. So I'm sorry. So thank you guys for joining us. I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. Jack Hale, and you guys look like you're large and in charge out there. Got the full bottles and a little crew out there. I see some dogs down there. That's great. Awesome. Oh, look at that little guy. All right. Dogs are encouraged in the Zoom. Emily Rue, thank you for joining us. Where are you guys zooming in from?
We're right here in LA.
All right. Is this your first time on our Zoom?
No, we did one, when was that? September?
Yeah.
October? Something like that.
Yeah.
Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy the program. Emily Little, how are you tonight?
Doing pretty well. I've got wine, just had some dinner. Can't complain.
And where's home for you?
Redondo Beach.
All right, thank you. Jackie and Carrie Casino, where you guys zooming in from?
Fullerton?
Fullerton, all right.
Yeah.
You are probably representing the East Coast for us tonight. And Barbara, you're representing NorCal, right?
I have to unmute. Yes, Healdsburg. Yeah, nice to see you. As always, these are fantastic. How many people are on?
Oh, I don't know. We should be over 30, but maybe that's because there's multiple people in each link tonight. But yeah, we've got over 30 people tasting tonight, so super exciting.
Very cool. Good way to spend a Saturday.
Yeah, more the merrier here. So we got a big program, and Setsuko always represents the extreme West. She is in Japan, and excited to have her zooming in from Japan. And Dave Chapman, welcome. I see you on there. And anyone else, we'll get to you later and say hi. Let's get some wine knowledge flowing and use your chat box tonight. And Setsuko's welcoming everyone. Bonjour. Olivier, why don't we start talking about Chateau Raoul? I sent you the slideshow I'm going to share with everybody. Let's hope this.
Please. So Chateau Raoul is a beautiful little property, we have in grape. We do the red and the white as well. You're gonna have in your glass tonight the white one. Chateau Raoul is a rich diversity of outstanding terroir. The vineyard is spread over 54 individual plots. Durt, the name of the company, by the way, the 9 chateaux we own are under the name, the umbrella name of Durt Vineyard. So Durt Vineyard for the company is what I'm gonna talk about tonight. We're managing Chateau Raoul. Durt Vineyard is managing Chateau Raoul since 2007. And planting densities, which is the number of vine per hectares we have been increased in the replanted plots to 7,000 vine per acres.
Wow.
The minimum allowed on this appellation is 5,000. So we decided to invest a little bit more money and to plant 2,000 more vine per hectares, which is pretty substantial.
You know, a lot of people think, Olivia, that means more wine, but it doesn't. It actually means less. It's spatial competition causes the vines to really kind of fight for minerality, water, sunshine, and keeps the plant size pretty small. So more plants per hectare or acre, the more challenging for the vines. So that usually results in more concentrated fruit, smaller amounts of fruit, and smaller amounts of clusters per vine.
That's true. The white wine in Graves is widely recognized. It's one of the finest white wine from Graves. It's rich, rounded, and generous on the palate. The red is very well appreciated as well, but we're not going to try it tonight. The vineyard itself is planted, 35 hectares of red is planted, and 5 hectares of white only is planted. The plantings at 67% Merlot, 30% Cabernet, 3% of Petit Verdot. And the white, that's for the red. For the white, we do 70% Semillon, and we do 30% Sauvignon Blanc.
Cool. And just a couple of things I want to point out here on the wine notes. You know, the major variety here, Semillon. First of all, white Bordeaux is a really small category. I think the last numbers I got was that it was about 3% of the total production in Bordeaux is white Bordeaux. So not a lot of white Bordeaux. You know, when we think about white Bordeaux, we might think Sauvignon Blanc, but Semillon is the major variety behind the Batra-sized wines further south. And it really is the grape, I think, that you're feeling in your mouth here. It's got that rich, kind of creamy palate weight and the palate. And that is accentuated by the fine lees aging. What is that? That when during fermentation, all the solids fall to the bottom, and these solids are known as lees. So they call it on top of the lees or sur lie aging. And they might stir those back in to give wine more softness, richness, roundness, creaminess. And all these things work really well with this barrel fermented white wine. So this is it. And I love this wine.
This white wine is, you know, obviously on our chateau, the soil is probably 90% sandy gravel, which is exceptional for Semillon. You know, like I said, we're planting 7,000 vine per acre. It's to optimize the ripeness and the concentration of the berries. You can see when testing this white wine, it's very subtle. It's got a good amount of fruit, but this got really, really nice acidity. That's really what I like about this wine.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, white Bordeaux, if you're going to make it, you want to see something pretty special. And I love the packaging on the bottle itself. It's dark glass. It's got like this smoky brown glass and this really sexy package. So it's.
Can you hold it up?
I could, but ignore my sticker that I put on the label.
I think it's an excellent wine.
Yeah,
it is. It's very well priced as well. You know, for the price of this wine, I think that's a very little gem. You don't have to spend, you know, $60 or $70 to get a great bottle of wine. I think it's a very attractive wine.
Yeah, I'll get the price here in just 1 second. I just want to show one more thing because Olivier provided some fantastic slides as well, but we had our slideshow kind of nailed down, but I wanted to just show a little bit of the gravel that he was talking about, because it's when we talk about gravel in the vineyard, and we're going to go back and forth just a little bit here for a second, but the stony minerality that we see in this place is pretty extraordinary. Give me 1 second to find that.
And I think, Ian, you said a very important word, minerality. I think the minerality on this wine is exceptional. You know, you got a lot of wine from Bordeaux who are white wine from Bordeaux who are overpowered with Semillon. And I think, you know, this wine is not at all. It's very well balanced. And
yeah, for sure. So I'm just going to show you a little bit more. Lots of accolades on this wine, by the way. Good scores up and down the food chain, and quite a bit of history at this particular property going back to the 1650s. And this kind of shows you the collection of where the vineyards are. And then some of these photos on the left-hand side show you some of the looks and feels of the state. And here's all their labels.
Well, you got a lot of information. That's great.
Yes, you set me up. All right. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about, price. Yes, let's get the price. Okay, so if you are on the website, I'm going to get you there. You would be able to find it pretty easily tonight. And this is what I want to do. If you are interested in any of the wines, I want you to be able to go and find these wines. So we go into Zoom into Wine link tonight. And click on the Bordeaux event. This is one way to do it. And you can just literally live click on any of the wines that we have. This is $37.95 for this beautiful Graves.
Fantastic price.
Yeah. And like I said, these wines, I think, you know, for the fact that they're such a small percentage of what they're doing in Bordeaux. Many of the Bordeaux houses, actually, the white Bordeaux is even more expensive than the red.
It is. That's a very good point, Ian. Sorry to cut you off. You know, in grape, like everybody must know, you have a sub-appellation called Pessac-Léognan, which is part of the grape appellation as well. We got a Chateau, which we're gonna try the red tonight, not the white. And we do a white, which is very, very famous in the Pessac-Léognan, which is a blend of Sauvignon Blanc, Semillon, but we do a Sauvignon Gris as well. You know, and if people like really, really rich and full-bodied white Bordeaux, they should get hold of Ian, and Ian can get you this one as well.
Which one is that?
The Chateau Lagarde Blanc.
Lagarde, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to taste the Rouge tonight.
Yeah, we're going to taste the Rouge tonight.
All right. So when we put this program together, we kind of decided we wanted to kind of hopscotch all over. So we start off with a little Bordeaux 101. You know, this river right here, it's not really a river, it's called an estuary. And it is the divider of Bordeaux. So you got the right bank over here and the left bank over here, okay? Where we're at with this wine is right in here. And probably the most famous winery in this area is Chateau Haut-Brion. And the Haut-Brion is, you know, the Haut-Brion Blanc probably is twice as expensive as the red, and the Haut-Brion, the red is $1,000 a bottle. So the white is really, really highly thought of, and it's a region that it has really interesting minerality. That's what's really sexy about Pessac and Graves, and you're going to see that again when we blind taste the red. Remember that kind of accentuated smell, aroma, character that we get in Pessac, because that's going to be one of the distinguishing factors of the wines. Now, I'm going to talk quickly about the wines and to get you guys going on tasting all the reds, okay? And so I'm going to give you some quick overview, and then as we unveil these wines tonight, Oliver, I'll have you go into a little deeper and tells that story. But let me my mouse. Here we go. Come on. There's a nicely organized map too to look at it. So today we're going to taste wines from Santa Steph, a wine that's right out here, kind of in between Pauillac and Saint-Julien. We're going to taste two wines from the Haut-Medoc, and we're going to taste one wine from Saint-Emilion, the town right here, which there's all these little towns kind of crammed in together. Saint-Emilion, Palmerol, they really abut each other, and there's these little teeny enclaves that create all of Saint-Emilion. The right bank is the signature of the right bank is that it's a little colder, a little wetter, and that the major thing that you're gonna have influence the wine over here is the soils. The soils over here, especially in this area, a lot of clay. Now, Cabernet does not like clay. So that's why you don't see much Cabernet on the right bank. And Merlot loves clay. The most famous Merlot in the world is Chateau Petrus, and it is in the signature blue clay. And that is one of the reasons that when people find clay in their vineyard, they think, let's plant Merlot. Now on the left bank, we've got stone and teeny gravel, because this whole area was underwater forever. And as the tides receded and pulled back, and quite honestly, as they took the marshlands that were Bordeaux and kind of turned them into above ground real estate, the gravel is what is the most important factor in the soils. And as you go through some of these vineyards, there is so much gravel, there's no dirt. And so the vines are literally growing in pure gravel, which is makes them stressed, but the drainage is incredible. So this left bank, you do see a lot of cab, but Merlot is equal as important on the left side. It's just decorated with Cabernet. Sometimes it's more Cab than Merlot, but often it's more Merlot than Cabernet. And then they play around with 3 other grape varieties. Cabernet Franc, which you'll find on both sides of the highway, both sides of Bordeaux. Cabernet Franc and Merlot make up the wines on the right bank of Saint-Emilion, and Cab Franc's a much more important player in Saint-Emilion than in Pomerol. And then on the left bank, so you got Cab Franc, you got Merlot, you got Cab, but you also got Malbec and Petit Verdot kind of playing little instruments there too. And there are some other grape varieties that some producers plant and grow, and there's as many as 8. And just last week, Bordeaux actually added even more varieties that you can plant going forward because they're very concerned about global warming. And you're going to hear about Albarino, you're going to hear about Touriga Nacional, and other grape varieties that could end up in Bordeaux. They're just allowing it as an experiment to see what happens. And so this is an emerging story from a very important wine region. Bordeaux is 8 times larger than Napa Valley. And it is the single largest production zone in all of France. Okay, so we've talked about our Graves. I hope you enjoyed. I loved it. And man, that wine, by the way, that Grave wine, as good as it is on its own, with food is unbelievable. You start tying in some amazing cuisine with that wine and it goes up a notch or 10 because it has that minerality and that stoniness and that amazing acid. And these white wines, by the way, from Bordeaux, they could be 20 years old and they just get really, really interesting as they age. So you might want to try putting down a couple bottles of white Bordeaux. Now, we're going to get into the other wines, and I sent you a cheat sheet just so you can keep track. Did everybody get that? Let me just make sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Let's see if I can show that off. Here it is. All right. These are not the answers, okay? This is how you can answer our blind survey. Which one do you think it is? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Or is it E? And I'm going to talk about the wines in that order, but the wines are not necessarily in that order in the glass, okay? And then I'm going to give you a couple little things about each wine to look for. I don't know if I'm helping you or hurting you with some of this information, but it's just a little bit of a guessing game. See which one A you like, and then B, which one do you think is which. And what we're going to use is we're going to use the chat box, and you're going to give the answer, all your answers at one time, and we'll see how it goes and who did the best. Okay. All right. Let's get into the slideshow again and go into our next winery. So here is the next wine that we're going to talk about, and it is one of the reds, but not the first one that we're tasting necessarily. Could be, but it is wine A, and it's Chateau Lagar Rouge. It is an appellation of origin control Pessac Léognan from Bordeaux. It is a 2012 vintage, and that's what's cool about tonight too. Oliver, your company has wines that have a little bit of age to them. So we're either tasting 12s or 14s. The magic number for Bordeaux
is 10. When a wine from Bordeaux gets to be 10 years old, the little stick should pop out of the top of the bottle and says, "I'm ready to drink." It's just a magic number. You can drink these wines now, and in 12s and 14s, you're going to love them, but they just hit another level of amazing at 10. So just keep that in mind. This wine that we're talking about from Pessac, when we go to taste it, realize that it is 52 Cab and 48 Merlot. Okay. And Cabernet, when it's dominant, it's going to show a little bit of the cassis, eucalyptus, mint, especially exaggerated in Pessac. The soils, the rockiness, the stoniness, like we saw in Graves, that amazing nose. And a little bit of smokiness will come kind of out of the glass as well. I often, Oliver, talk about Pessac and Graves wines as having almost kind of a peaty-like smell, like Scotch. And so one of the wines, you might find some of these characteristics.
You know, the gold standard in Pessac Léognan on a par with the great Cru Classé wines, which stand out for their balance and generosity, and the typically smoky notes, as you mentioned, Ian, of the terroir. Again, you know, it's one of the highest, Chateau Lagarde is one of the highest area in the Pessac Léognan appellation, in the immediate vicinity of the Grand Cru Classé wine. So a very high quality one as well. The blend says 52 Cab, 42 Merlot. That's more of a marketing thing. When I present it myself, I like to say 50-50. Really, we show people the quality of both the Merlot and the Cabernet as well. I think a very elegant, very elegant and easy drinking Pessac Léognan red wine.
One thing that you can see in this photo here is just how defined winemaking has become. It's now about the berry, and the berry is elevated by the machine of the vine. And the vine, if you look in that picture of the vine and you see the size of that trunk, that age, that, you know, that thing is invested, you know, it is down there reading pulling the data from the database that is the soil and the stone. And it's depositing that data into the berries. And so that all that stone that you're seeing around the base of that's what all the soils look like on the left bank. It's just crazy how much rock there is.
Absolutely. To complement what you said, Ian, we got one of the area in Pessac Léognan named the Plateau, which extend over more than 14 hectares and reaching 50 meters. One of the highest point in the district. Is made up of a layer of large stones reaching 4 meters in depth, which is very important as well. And this is ideal for cultivating, obviously, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Petit Verdot, which impart the complexity and elegant structure of the great Pessac Léognan wines.
Beautiful. One of the wines that we're going to try tonight is from Saint-Emilion. And can you, with your great French accent, say the name of this wine for me?
At Chateau Grand Barail, La Marzel, Figeac.
Exactly.
Easy peasy.
And this is 12 to 14 months in oak barrels, 91 points, James Suckling.
Grand Cru. Not classé, but Grand Cru appellation.
Now this wine being from Saint-Emilion, right bank, Merlot dominated, Cabernet Franc. Let me see what the numbers say here.
It's 70% Merlot approximately and 30% Cab Franc. I think 78-22, something like that.
Yeah.
The chateau is right at the opposite of the famous Premier Cru Classé Chateau Figeac. So we are right there with all the growth and, you know, which the terroir is going to be very similar. On the terrace, some flinty clay gravel, known as Saint-Emilion gravel.
Now, when you smell this wine, Um, soft floral notes, things like violet, red fruits, cherries, berries, maybe red plum, silky. That's a very important differential, is that ripe bank wines have a silkiness, and almost if you could taste shapes, the ripe bank wines are heavy and get wider at the base. They're dense, they're dark, they're deep. But the left bank wines get a little bit more aromatic lift and more sharp and more kind of vocal. So Saint-Emilion, this wine, like chocolate covered cherries. Dense.
You know, the surface area is pretty small as well. Chateau Grand Barral La Mazelle Figeac is on 15 hectares. 1 hectare is about 2.2 acres. So about, I would say, 30, 33, 35 acres, we can say. And, you know, obviously the plantings, we're planting on the vineyard, 70% Merlot and 30% Cab Franc. I like to describe it as a very sexy wine, you know. I think it's very elegant, very silky, like Ian said, which I really like. That's one of my favorite. I think it's very easy drinking. It goes well with a lot of different kind of food. You can have it with a heavy salad with some volaille, you know, some duck, or even a light steak as well. I think this wine is definitely, for a Grand Cru, it's very approachable. That's definitely a sexy wine. That's how I like to describe it.
Chateau Le Basque, this is our Saint-Estèphe wine tonight. 60 Merlot, this is left bank. But remember what I said, some of the left bank wines play heavy on the Merlot side. But I'll tell you, when I know which wine this is in the glass, you almost can't tell that there's Merlot. I mean, this really has a lot of Cabernet structure, and Saint-Estèphe really promotes that stoniness that's in Saint-Estèphe, makes these wines jump out with Cabernet characteristic. Lots of eucalyptus, mint, cassis, that lift, and then boom, tannins galore. Tannin is going to be a structural experience on this wine, I will tell you, I think Saint-Estèphe, even though it's a premium zone, the wines of Saint-Estèphe kind of represent a pretty extreme value because they have so much character and quality marks, and they're so likable. And this is just a really cool one.
And you said something very important. You mentioned that even with this amount of Merlot, if you blind taste this wine, like I do quite a bit, a lot of people miscall this wine. Saint-Estèphe is a great appellation. I think this wine, even with this amount of Merlot, is one of the most robust blend wine I have. And trust me, I blind test some master sommelier before. We were so wrong about this wine. So Saint-Estèphe, which we love, obviously, but it's a very, very, very good appellation. Chateau Le Basque is an appellation of Cru Bourgeois since 1932. You got different appellation in Bordeaux, going from first growth to fifth growth, and Cru Bourgeois is a little lower. We're actually gonna become a Cru Exceptionnel, I believe, starting next year. The power of Cabernet grapes, unusual elegance supported by the Merlot. Great little wine, definitely to me a more robust blend, a robust wine with beautiful tannins.
Just a couple more photos for you. Again, a great resume of scores. And some nice history as well. Here's a look at a cool photo to show you. Chateau Le Basque is here, right next to one of my all-time favorites, Cologne-Ségur. And right in that same neighborhood is Chateau Montrose. Here's the town of Saint-Estèphe right off the water, and Montrose is here. And then right down below, you got Pauillac down here. So the neighborhoods are pretty expensive in this area, and you can see by some of the famous names that are around it, that you're in the high rent district. Nice little parcel development. When you look at the vineyards, you can see that this is a pretty sizable estate as well. They have quite a few of the Bordeaux varietals.
And, pretty small planning. The vineyard surface is only 18 hectares, which is about 40 acres. So, the total hectares of the 9 chateaux we own is the equivalent around 500 hectares. So it's about 1,200 acres, which is pretty substantial in Bordeaux already.
Excellent. All right. A lot of information to absorb. Hope everyone's doing okay. We're going to move on to our next wine. And we're moving, I'm going to talk about the Chateau Raison. And this is a 90% Merlot, 10 Cab Franc. It's a Bordeaux Superior from Medoc. And it is a 2014, no Cabernet. And one of the distinguishing things that I found in the nose of this wine is that it has not the clay kind of a character, but more of a dusty note, more earth, sand, stone, and that's this silty Merlot kind of results, but more of the nose changes a little bit. It's a big wine, but it's got more of a dusty kind of a Napa Valley kind of a character to it. What do you think about that comparison?
Yeah, I think we can have the pleasure tonight to try my 2 Medoc, which are very, very different. You got 2 wines from the opposite of the appellation. One's gonna be Cabernet dominant, and one is the Merlot dominant. Again, this one is 90% Merlot and 10% Cab Franc, around that. Very 2 different wine, but with kind of the same terroir, which proves that that even on the right bank or the left bank, you'll be able to grow some beautiful either Cab or Merlot. I think Chateau Raison is another Cru Bourgeois, Cru Bourgeois Supérieur. It's not a Grand Cru, but I think it's a very, very, we do for 12 to 14 months in oak, and I think the aging is very important. I think the wine speaks much better than, when people try. It's a lot to understand about this wine. I think it's very well balanced, it's very approachable, and it's got a very nice complexity as well. Very approachable too on price. Well, you haven't talked about price, but I think this wine is.
Yeah, this is like in the value, a little more in the value range. Price on the website I'll get to in a second. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention that before. But some Bordeaux's are listed as Bordeaux, and some are Premier Cru Class A, and they all have subtle ratings, and it's a lot of information to absorb. But there's basically different categories, and for the wine to want to be involved in the Bordeaux Superior means it's really a hard-working wine that is achieving some merit, but it's not part of the Grand Cru Class A.
No. So one thing we did for this Chateau Raison as well, we changed the density. Again, the density of vine per acre, the minimum reglementation is 5,500, and we're planting this one at 6,700 plants per hectare. So, people sometimes don't understand what it means, but it costs a lot of money, but it makes a big difference, to have the vine able to breathe more than the regular density. That's a beautiful photo picture right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna go to the second Medoc.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you're ready, and I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, let's go for it.
Chateau Belgrave is one of Grand Cru Classé. We are 5th growth in 1855. Very beautiful property. You know, that's definitely, I would say, a more complex, obviously, more complex wine. This one's, the blend would be, if I remember correctly.
65-35, that's what it says on the slide.
I'm sorry, what does it say?
It says 65-35.
65 cap, 45.
35 Merlot.
35
And,
Merlot.
one thing I wanted to point out there, when you mentioned it already, the Grand Cru Classé, that's basically the king's wine buyer was tasked with going down to Bordeaux in 1855 and making a list of which wines they should buy. And when the buyer got down there, he surveyed the area and realized that all the producers on the right bank were so small. We're talking like 2-3 hectares, you know, teeny garages, small family farms. And then you get to the left bank and you had big money there and big estates. And those people with a lot of money bought the best pieces of land, and they were doing the best winemaking, and they had the best equipment, and they had the most tools. And so those ended up resulting in a lot of the best wines. In 1855, he made this list, and he broke it down into top, which is the first growths, and there were only 4. And then there was all these second growths, and there were about 20 of them. And then there's third growths, fourth growths, fifth growths. And the list, it's amazing how accurate the document has been. There's only been like one change ever to the document since 1855. It's a pretty private club. You don't get added to the Grand Cru Classé club because you weren't around in 1855. So that's what's kind of cool about it. And it was classified way back then. And then it also talks about, you know, heritage and their commitment to remaining relevant.
Absolutely. A very good, cool thing about this chateau is we located, our first neighbor, direct neighbor is Chateau Lagrange. Chateau Lagrange is a Saint-Julien appellation. It's a very, very famous wine. We are separated to the Saint-Julien appellation by the stream of water, which is about 5 feet wide. So the owner of my company always make a joke and said, should we dig, you know, 10 feet to the left and try to get the Saint-Julien appellation? And I tell him, you know, all the sales force tell him all the time, no, because at the price we get it, you're able to get a growth in the $100 range, whatever it is. And it would be a Saint-Julien, we would have to sell it for like double of the price. So it's kind of a, you know, a blessing for us. And, you know, people, the same soil. It's a very deep gravel, overlying a clay subsoil. So it's, you know, you go to Saint-Julien, you got a lot of similar characteristics. You know, very, very full-bodied, very, you know, very powerful Cabernet. But, you know, again, when Ian's gonna give you the price, I think for a 5th growth, the Grand Cru Classé at this price, that's a very, very well-made wine.
Couple more photos.
Beautiful package too, by the way.
So something we haven't mentioned, the Chateau Le Bosque, the Chateau Belgrave, and the Chateau Lagarde comes in wooden box for people who buy full cases, or, you know, some people like wood. So this wine, the Grand Baraille, actually Grand Baraille, Le Bosque, Lagarde, and Belgrave come in wooden box.
Cool. All right. So let's see if I think I covered everything. Just a recap. We have the Lagar from Pessec, which is 52 Cab, 48 Merlot. And let me see if I can tie in the website on this as well.
$5 a bottle, that's cheap. No.
Yeah, man, no kidding. So Chateau Lagar from Pessec Léognan, $50. The Figeac Saint-Emilion, 54.
That's really good. And that's a Grand Cru.
Chateau Le Bosque, 52. Raison is 35. And the Belgrave is about
Oh, that's a half bottle.
70 for the full bottle. Yeah. Okay. So now what we want to do is have you tell us in order pull up the chat and tell us in order what, or maybe just put your favorite one wine. And if you want to say that your favorite was the white, you could do that too. If you want to tell us two favorites, you're welcome to do that as well. White's already getting a lot of love. Cicely Cronin says that she loves 5 and 6, and Mike loves 4 and 5. Lisa loves number 3. Some more 1 and 3. Sandoval likes 3. Gina likes, Hector's now breaking away from Gina. Gina likes 3. Hector liked 5. Emily Little liked the white and number 2. Barbara says the white rocked, and 5 and 6. Mary Pat, white 4 and 6. Art number 5. The Grossmans 3 and 6. Emily 3 and 6. Daughter loved the white. Cool. We're pretty all over the place. That's good. That's what I love about wine too, is there's always something that strikes you and touches you personally. And that's why, you know, I've always kind of had this approach to drinking wine anyway. I'd rather drink 6 little tastes than 1 or 2 big glasses, and be able to sort the flavors, the experiences, and Bordeaux has a lot to offer and a lot of different, you know, ways of presenting itself. Now, when we blind taste in our the master wine exam, they don't give you a list of wines to choose from. You don't get to see the bottles in the room even. You pick up the glass and it could be a $4 bottle of wine.
Unless Reggie is around.
Oh, well, you.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah. Then God, you totally threw me off. Oh, $4 bottle of wine or a $400 bottle of wine. And yes, they do put that quality of wine into the exams. And if you get those wrong, you're really in trouble. There's a little bit of weight on the really expensive stuff. You're supposed to notice it. So as we taste through these wines, and what we're really excited about with this program is that we're able to offer some really nice value, but also significant quality. And a lot of these houses have been, around for generations and really represent benchmarks in each appellation. So a couple more number 6s starting to come in. Julie Edwards 4 and 1. Barry the white number 3. So I think the white did its job tonight, and made a lot of fans, which I mean, a lot of people have never even tried many white Bordeaux. So it was an awesome representative for us. Now I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of work and list out which order you think they're in. This is like picking the lotto numbers, but use your alphabet there. Just put it like 2A, 3B, 4D type of thing, and keep it easy for me so we can notice if you got it right. But while you're doing that, I'm gonna just talk about a couple of things that we've got working back at the ranch here. Really excited about our upcoming Rhone Warriors tasting that's coming down the pipe. I will say it actually has a potential of selling out. And, maybe it was because we offered such exciting pricing at the beginning. Prices only went up like $5-10, but people were jumping on board with both hands, and so the event is pretty sexy, though, I will say, and we'll get to it here in a second. But on Wednesday night, we've got my friend and graduate of the Learn About Wine School, Jim Fox. He is a LA Kings retired player who is now the voice of the LA Kings, commentator on the radio, and an all-around amazing guy. And he loves wine, he always has. And he started a brand called Patiné, which means to have skated. And the wines are spectacular. It's a Pinot Noir brand. He makes them with Mike Smith, who's got a lot of 100-point wines. And we're going to meet the entire team, including Mike Smith, Jim Fox, and his partners. And we've got a big event because he invited his mailing list to join us for that crowd. A good friend of mine, actress Sarah Halstead, comedian. She's hilarious. And she is also involved in the wine industry. She's a brand ambassador for Lucien Albrecht. And we're gonna do a little pre-Valentine's Zoom with rosé. If you like this rosé, and a lot of people do, basically you can buy a bottle anywhere in the world and join us on the Zoom for $5, or you can get one of the packages that we have. We have some value-added packages on the event. But you could buy the wine from us. We deliver for free in Los Angeles, of course. And we have a 3-bottle package, a 4-bottle, 5-bottle. And it's a really nice little Valentine's gift, better than giving candy. And it's the perfect wine to give away. You can give it to men and women, and everyone will enjoy it. We have our wine, cheese, and chocolate programs on Valentine's every year. And these might sell out because I only have 2 hands, and we can only make about 50 kits, and we're going to hit 50 kits for wine, cheese, and chocolate. That is so much work. That's why I look the way I do right now. This class right here, we had over 30 kits on this program, and that's not including cheese and chocolate. So it's a lot of packaging. And love to do the work, though. It's a really, really great high-end stuff. Mila chocolate. If you've never had it before, she's one of the best chocolatiers in the world, and she's going to have her chocolate involved in this program. The wines are insane. I always bring some of the best wines forward, and I think you'll really enjoy that program. Colt wines, only a couple spots left. Check it out. Chardonnay, Bob Blummer, Chef Bob Blummer is going to do Chardonnay with me. Really awesome. The Rhone Warriors, 3 nights with the winemakers, 6 winemakers per night. Some of the best in the business. Night 1, for example, Melville, Tablas Creek, Force Majeure, Law Estate, Andrew Murray, and Lassiter. Take a look at all the nights, because there's the names couldn't be any better. And the wines that they're bringing out are the best. So really a fun program. You can do all 3 nights. Tasting kits delivered, $129. That's an insane value. So if you want to get involved in Rhone Rangers, jump on it, because the price goes up again soon, and it will get very close to selling out soon. I'll finish by talking about my tasting with Vince Ferragamo on the 6th of March. I was a huge LA Rams fan growing up in LA. Vince was the jersey I had, and I met him at a couple of wine tastings. Absolutely the coolest guy ever. He's an Italian stud. So we're going to taste Brunello di Montalcino blind with Vince Ferragamo. And I brought out some awesome, this Sassetti Permali is one of my favorite Brunellos, period. And you're going to get floored how good that wine is. Silvio Nardi and the 04 Col d'Orcia, and a little Rosso that'll knock you out for $15. So it's a really fun lineup. We'll cover a lot of ground there.
Ian, I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna thank you for having me tonight. That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
I want to thank everybody who participated, and thank you for testing my wine as well. And I hope I'll be able to talk to you about the wine another time.
Thank you, Olivier. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
yourself. Thank
Merci
you.
beaucoup,
Merci beaucoup.
Olivier.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right. So the answers we've got coming in: Brian Grossman, thank you. Mary Pat, Lisa, Miranda, Wendy, Emily, Jess, and Garth. Here we go with the answers. Dun dun. I need some music. Hold on now. Here they come. Wine number 1, Chateau Raoul, which you knew. That's our white. Wine number 2 from Saint-Emilion. That is wine B. Wine number 3, Chateau Le Basque. That is wine C. Wine number 4, Chateau Raison. That is wine D. Wine number 5 is wine A, Chateau Lagar from Pessac-Léognan. And wine number 6 is Chateau Belgrave au Médoc.
I think we got them all, Ian.
And you are our winner.
We are the new sommeliers.
Well, but and Wendy as well. Wendy also got literally the same answer, so we're all on the same page. So
That's pretty impressive, gang.
oh, thank you so much. This is like
Yeah.
it wasn't easy, but it was.
We didn't win the lotto, but I'll take this.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure. I hope you enjoyed. Hector, how did it go for you guys over there?
It was fantastic, man. It was nothing but the best. But I had a question I wanted to ask. One is that recently we were at the Gastronomica a year ago, and we went down to the Rioja area, and I wanted to ask him whether they still do the egg whites to eliminate the tannins in these wines, and whether they still use that technique to soften it.
Yes, they do. There are some producers that have changed away from egg proteins. Protein, by the way, and the egg white is used to slowly go down through the barrel, collects on the bottom of the barrel, and is a fining agent. It also helps clarify the wine, and it's positively charged, and negatively charged molecules in the wine are attracted to the protein. Now, there are other things that can be used in wine clarification, but Bordeaux uses a lot of egg white still. And that's why so many of their pastries are so delicious, because they have the surplus amount of egg yolk.
Yeah.
And they give that to the bakeries in the local areas, and they use those egg yolks to make special little cannoli desserts, especially in Saint-Emilion. So Jess is really celebrating over there. Garth, you guys might need to go soon.
We're just
I got nowhere to go but home.
yeah, we're elated and just thrilled and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we never get anything right, so this is it's very rare for us.
yes.
Hey, I'm so happy. That's so cool. Well, I'm gonna post the answers. I typed those out before. I gotta find them. I'll post them in the box here in a second. Does anybody else want to ask any other questions?
Ian, since we're in Bordeaux tonight, is there a possibility of you hosting a Sauterne tasting? Please.
Yeah,
Please.
so I use Sauterne in the wine, cheese, and chocolate program, and I pair Sauterne with beautiful blue cheese, and I have a fantastic Sauterne that I'm using, and so that's one of the great wines that we show off. And I love my dessert wine. I think dessert wines are at absolute rock bottom right now, but I'm carrying an increasing number of them. And the answers are just posted in case you were curious or lost which wine was which. I just posted the answers to the chat box. But yeah, Sauterne will, get its due share of time on our different events. If you don't join us for Wine, Cheese, and Chocolate, I'm sure there'll be a day where we have Sauterne back very, very soon. Any other questions?
Hey, Ian, a quick question for you. Which one was your favorite?
I kind of dug wine number 5 tonight myself. That's kind of in my lane. I kind of like the nose on that wine, and kind of that smoky Pessec notion there. And I tasted them earlier today to kind of get these notes and be able to talk intelligently about them. They've been open for a while. I'm going to taste them again after we're done and go through them. But that wine is really intriguing to me, and Lagar is really a top house. And I'm it's maybe not the crowd favorite, but it did very well, and it's one of my favorites in the nose category tonight. Anyway, I also love my Right Bank wine, which would have been the wine 2. I think the Right Bank wine is showing really well, at least it was earlier, and had some really nice chewiness. I was impressed overall with all of the wines, and if you look at price point, you kind of get what you pay for here. I think that's really also backed up with these wines. If you look at the prices, I'm often attracted to the more expensive wine in the room, but it isn't because I like paying more. It's just there's more detail and more interesting things for me. And sometimes it's less. I don't need massive. I don't need power all the time. I like finesse, and I like the wines with a more interesting nose and something that's, I don't even have to drink it. I just want to smell it. Those are the wines that I love so much. Barbara, what did you like the best tonight?
I liked 5, and I don't have any notes in front of me, but 5, 6, and 2. I thought, is that your Right Bank wine?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Cool. Yeah.
So but I didn't take any notes. I didn't have cheat sheets, so I was just trying to follow along. But
yeah, there's a lot. It was a lot. It was 4 screens.
I have to be more prepared next time. But those were my top 3. The other thing with the white, I think that's a fantastic value, and it's just, I think we have to be pushed as Americans to think something different from a Chardonnay or something. This was a very good wine. The white, I don't have it here, but so approachable yet so structured and with lingering. That's wine I would drink all the time and pair with a lot of different foods. Cool. So, and it was a value.
Valerie, what did your group like the best there tonight? Are you guys drinking Bordeaux now, or did you guys move on to some Chardonnay? What is that? I can't hear you guys, Valerie. Maybe you're talking to somebody else. You talking to me?
It might be done with you.
That's the typical female response.
So we at the Edwards Sanchez household, we loved number 1, and we loved number 6.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
And I came in with a 6.5 bottle to keep the price of the program kind of in line.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. Also, another thing that's interesting is that when you put wine in a half bottle, it actually, with Bordeaux, kind of helps it get drinking a little bit sooner than a big bottle slows things down. So the bigger the bottle, the slower the evolution is. So if you want to drink something sooner, that half bottle will help. And with its price point being a little elevated, that half bottle probably helped it drink pretty well tonight. Just a little bit more oxidation and openness, and the half bottles can do that. It's also nice to have a little half bottle around. Some people don't want to make a full bottle commitment. So it's less than $40 for the half bottle. It's about $75 for a full bottle. So it's a pretty good deal there.
So Ian, that said, if you're doing that, like the arc of your 375s to 750s, how much earlier would you say the 375s mature?
It's probably a little bit more complicated than that, because vintage will dictate that.
Right, exactly. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
We have 15 and 16 vintages, which a lot of people are excited about, and they're big press scoring vintages, but those wines are so massive.
Right.
The best scoring vintages, I would drink 12 and 14 now versus 9 and 10, because 9 and 10 and 15 and 16 are so big and powerful that they're too young, and there's no finesse there yet, and they're jaw breaking, chewy, tannic, and powerful. So you find a little bit more of a classic. While we talk about 9, 10, 15, and 16 as being like really great vintages, that's for 25 years from now. More traditional vintages that I look to drink and enjoy, like I really love 5 right now, like 05. I'd like to drink 12, 14, and probably anything younger than 14 would just be too young. I don't care what price point you're at either in Bordeaux. But it's fun to even explore some of the weird vintages like 11, 7, 8, 6. We get the ratings on these wines. They're tasting, the professionals are tasting and rating these wines out of barrel when they were put on premiere in April. And then they go to bottle about 8 months later, and then they end up in our marketplace. And when they turn 10, we kind of revisit them, and the score is kind of like, oh wow, that's way better than I thought it was going to be, or that's not as good as it would, the rating was. So these wines have a lot of personality, and the half bottle, I would just say, I would feel like it's a little bit more evolved, and maybe in the first couple of years, and that would be about it. It's not a huge change, just a little bit. But I want to thank you guys, and hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you all again soon. And thanks for being such a classy group. And I hope you enjoyed. If you have any other questions, you can email them to me. If you're wanting to plan a trip with me in the future, we'll be going back to Bordeaux as soon as we can all travel. It's a fantastic place to go. We've had a couple of really fun groups there. And if you're like me, you're itching to get someplace like that. And I think I'm going to take 2022 and not even be in the US. You just meet me somewhere.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Sounds good. Our passports are fully ready. Just say when.
We're ready. We're ready.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, Ian.
Nothing Gar sound fun.
Aw, Barbara.
Hey, who you guys got, Tampa Bay or Kansas City tomorrow?
Yeah, what's the answer? What's the answer to that?
Kansas City.
Brady.
It better be Kansas City. That's right.
Kansas City.
Go Brady.
Oh, Bucks. Brady.
Oh.
Brady and Tampa.
Where do you watch it? Are you gonna watch it on CBS? Do you watch it on ESPN? Where are you gonna find that?
Can you watch it in a bar anywhere?
No, I don't think so. In fact, in Los Angeles, it's illegal for a bar to play it.
Yeah.
Is it illegal
No TV.
tolling?
No TV.
Yeah, no TVs are allowed in restaurants yet.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What do they think is going to happen with the TV?
Well, they just don't want any crowds. We're lucky. Literally, Barbara, restaurants just got outdoor seating allowed 2 days ago.
Yeah, we just got it here in Northern California, but I don't think we had the same TV prohibition, but I'll check tomorrow. Let's see.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of, it's kind of flipped the Super Bowl. You're watching it like with grandma or something. You know, you
Yeah.
watch it.
I'm surprised they haven't,
Yes.
be like invited people to be on a Zoom with, NFL players and stuff like that. That would be kind of cool.
What are they doing in Vegas, I wonder? You know,
All what Vegas
is everything closed?
No, I don't even know what's going on in Vegas. If anybody knows, speak up. But I think they're wide open. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. People wear masks and everything. They've got like pretty strict mask protocols, but other than that, it's the Wild West out there. I actually know someone who just chanced it like a week ago. I told me it was crazy, but he said it was fun.
I just came back from Florida, and everybody had masks basically, but it was, there is no. Yeah, we ate inside. Bars were open. It was.
Florida looks like they've got a different set of rules going on down there.
Yeah, but also they're way ahead of us in California on vaccinations and stuff. I don't know. I'm starting to have respect for Florida.
Well, they're ahead of us because they got all the vaccine, Barbara. That's the
Right,
president
well,
lives
yeah,
down there. He
all
wants to
people.
surround himself with vaccinated people. There's absolutely some truth to that, unfortunately.
Well, because there is so many elderly in Florida.
No, because they're so damn Republican down there. They got all the vaccine.
Well, maybe we should inject some Republican into. I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, people can't find it in California. How is it in LA?
There is no vaccine. I mean, we need more vaccine. That's all that it comes down to it. And until we got it, you can't.
They're sending out the military, so I guess the military must bring it with them. I guess. I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming. It's coming for sure. And I know Dodger Stadium is going to be a vaccination site. I think they've already tried to open as long as they can keep crazies from preventing people from getting vaccinated.
So if
I
I
was
say
vaccinated today at LA County Office of Ed.
All right.
At LA County what?
Office of Education in Downey.
Are you a teacher?
Teacher?
I'm a retired teacher, but that had nothing to do with it. I just used that website, My Turn, and I kept logging on. And finally, last night, they said it was my turn. So I went this morning.
Awesome. Good for you, Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom
I
got
didn't know that effect, so that's great.
my mom got
Cheers to
vaccinated.
that.
She's already planning her trip to California, so I'm excited.
I'm not going to get vaccinated. I'm going to drink all your wine, Ian. That's going to be my vaccination.
All right. Well, there's probably a lot of people that are thinking the same thing, but whatever your choices are, be careful out there and take care of everybody else. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Bye.
And,
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing everybody soon.
Thanks,
Bye now.
Ian.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Kent.
Bye,
Thank
Ian.
you.
Bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.